Alabama will not win the SEC. This game against Oklahoma was so concerning. The fashion in which they were ran out of the gym, how non-competitive they were, the body language was toxic. That's something to be worried about. It's a red flag that is red enough for you to say that this is now Tennessee or somebody else's conference to win. McCall, let's go to you first. Is that fair or no?
I think there's only two teams that this conference is going to come down to. I think it's Alabama and Tennessee. I don't think anyone else is going to be in consideration. I think you've got to
don't sleep
look.
on A&M, man.
Okay, Pat.
Don't sleep. They've been good.
They have been good. They have been good. I just look. Bama's got 5 out of the next 10 on the road. They got Auburn twice, and they have to play at Tennessee. Tennessee has Auburn twice, and they still got to go to Rupp. So can you look at the schedules? Who's more favorable? I would probably give the nod to Alabama's schedule, but I think that game on February 15th at Tennessee is what the SEC championship regular season is going to come down to. I think it's those two teams. I think they're going to battle it out in that game. Tennessee was so impressive over the weekend. I mean, that had to feel good for Rick Barnes. I don't care how many games he's won. The fact that what he's called like it is, Texas, they wanted to get rid of him. They wanted to get rid of him. The fans and everybody, they wanted to get rid of him. They ran him out of town. And to do what he's doing now at Tennessee, he's one of the best coaches in the country. To win that game, I know that had to feel good for him. That had to have felt good for him.
Not only one of the best coaches, one of the best men.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
yes.
he
he does it the right way.
He would never respond to somebody, after a tough loss that somebody else may have done tonight.
So I'm giving the nod to Tennessee because of Coach Barnes, but I think if you look at the schedules, man, I think Bama's got a little bit more of a favorable schedule. I think Bama had one bad game. I mean, it happens, right? They had a bad game. Do not count them out by any means. But that game on February 15th, because it's at Tennessee, I'm gonna shift a little bit and give it to my nod towards Tennessee.
Well, I would agree with you, but against Mississippi State, Bama played pretty soft in that first half as well. No resistance, allowing if Mississippi State had a few guys that could shoot 5 to 10% better from 3, they would have gotten beat at home. So I am a little concerned. I won't say this is reminiscent of the Alabama team of last year, because these guys do really play hard. I think something's just gotten lost in translation for them as of late, losing the focus of because it's just like Oklahoma just punched and didn't stop hitting them, and it's just like there was no counter, no attack on the way back. But if Alabama loses one of these games, these upcoming games, I think Saturday, the game right before, they're at Auburn right before that Tennessee game. If they lose that Auburn game, I think Tennessee is going to take this league. Tennessee they look complete, especially on the defensive side. I think they have 5 capable guys that on any given night can be special and have a great night. Olivier Kamwa, I think he probably has the highest ceiling out of anyone on their team because he's a stud. But they play such sacrificial basketball. It reminds me so much of my team, my 2014 senior year team. They play and they play better defense than us, actually, believe it or not. And it's hard for me to ever say that, but they've already have once they have like 15 games holding teams to 50 points and less already, and it's just unbelievable. So I think Tennessee is gonna find a way to get this done.
Yeah, the interesting thing to me and why I kind of side, well, you both said Tennessee, but why I would side with you, Pat, on why it's just a little more of like an eyebrow raiser the way Alabama lost this game. One, I felt like they laid an egg the game before, and I thought they would come out tightened up from that. Like, we had our wake-up call. We survived it with a win instead of a loss, but now you're going to get our A game. That didn't happen, number one. And number two, I'm all for great teams just don't have it some nights. That's for sure a thing. But when you compare, to me, a Tennessee game where they didn't have it was the game against Kentucky. They lost that game. But to me, they didn't let that game snowball, right? Like they fought their ass off to come back into that game, make it competitive. Alabama rolled over and let Grant Sherfield and everybody on that or the Oklahoma team do whatever they wanted for most of that game. That definitely scares me. I'm very curious how the Tide will respond because I think their A game's as good as anybody in the country, but clearly their F game might be a little bit worse than some of the other great teams at this point in the season.